We're here live from Lisbon, y'all. And African Americans are leaving America, y'all. All right, for real. No, I mean, for real, for real. It's official. The next great migration has begun. And can you blame us? I mean, really, can you blame us? Because a few months ago, about 3 months ago, right? And to no surprise, the U.S. joined Argentina and Israel in giving the finger to all of us from the African diaspora. So we out. And I ain't talking about like for a vacation or something like that, not necessarily just for retirement either, right? We are leaving because we are asking the question that our parents and grandparents rarely were able to ask. Where is it safer to build a life? Not perfect, right? Not utopia, just safer. Safe from lethal racism. Hello? All right. That historic United Nations vote caught our attention. Finally, the world recognized the trafficking of enslaved Africans and the transatlantic slave trade as one of the gravest crimes against humanity. All except most of Europe. And of course, racist as Argentina, Israel, and the United States. So that vote alone cannot tell you where to live. That's not what I'm saying, but it did make us ask, what can a country's response to history tell us about its values today?
So, how much should Black Americans think about whether another country is safer? That's the question we're answering today, because we know utopians are building plans A, B, C, and D. How would you even begin to compare different parts of the world? We're going to talk about South America, Asia, Africa, and Europe. Now look, every single time we do a video like this on this subject, someone gets in our comments talking about it ain't safe for us nowhere, so we might as well stay right here. Really?
I don't think so. That don't make no sense. That don't make no kind of sense, y'all. All right, we're going to get started. Hey, y'all. I'm Halisi.
And I'm Rick. Welcome to our Black Utopia.
On our channel, we talk about money, we talk about travel and life abroad. All right. We help folks who look like us, who are getting close to retirement age and forgot to plan. We help you get your money straight so that you can retire on time or maybe even early.
Yeah.
All right.
Even early.
Yes.
And abroad ain't bad either.
Abroad ain't bad. All right. Back in 2018, y'all, Rick and I got a wake-up call. So if you're new to our channel, you might not know. We were getting close to retirement age and we looked at our money and it looked crazy.
It was crazy.
But we got our financial act together. And in 3 years, we went from negative 22,000 to over 800,000 in net worth today, over 1.1 million. All right. And if we can do that, you can do it too.
You can do it too.
All right. We retired and moved to Portugal. And now we help other folks build your own Black utopia. So if any of that sounds like something that you need, what you need to do?
Subscribe.
Subscribe.
Smash the hell out of that like button.
Yes, because YouTube still is tripping, and we need to let it know that this is a conversation that needs to be shared. So thank you for helping us out.
So let's start here. If money weren't the issue, if it weren't an issue at all, what region of the world would you most like to explore? Type it in the chat. Not a country, a region, like West Africa, South Africa,
or Southern Africa.
Southern Africa.
Yeah.
All of Southern Africa.
Exactly.
I like South Africa.
I do too.
Central America, Southeast Asia, the Caribbean, South America, or the Mediterranean.
Let's see. And we're going to say hello to the folks who are in the chat so you know the drill. Put a Q in front of your question or comment and let us know. We want to know who is going to join us this winter for our winter reunion. I'm so excited. I am so excited. So I'm working with Chef right now, and we are creating the menu for our New Year's Eve mosque. That's right. We're having a mask, and 2 days before, we're having an all-day adventure at a winter village, family friendly. And in between, I think I've got something for us to do. So if you need more information, that information is in the description below. All right, we hear Southeast Asia, Asia, except China, right? Right? South America. Oh, all of the above. Western Europe, we've got Lisbon, we've got Mediterranean down
The
under.
down under.
So are you
Wow.
talking about Australia? Interesting. Whew, I don't know. Them hand-sized spiders. I don't know,
All
y'all.
crazy animals there. I mean, they got
Interesting. The
They-
weird animals
they
have
are very,
there.
very, very crazy. And there was a reason that somebody explained that why they have the weird animals. And
I bet
can't
you
recall
Jabari
it right
knows
now.
because he watches all that Animal Planet
I
stuff.
think what's the astrophysicist's name that comes on TV? Black guy.
Oh, the black guy. Yeah. I can't think of his name right now. I'm having a senior moment. Y'all. But I know. Oh, God, see, now I'm gonna be trying to think of his name. Southeast Asia. We got Western Europe. Hey, y'all. So we're gonna go ahead and say hello to the folks who are in the chat at the same time. So of course we've got Gwen and Derek.
Hey, Gwen and Derek.
Yeah. We and the members of our Black Utopia channel, we get together before we go live every single Sunday, and we chitty chat. They ask us questions, we ask questions, we talk about what's going on, right? And I see a lot of folks who are members here who don't hang out with us. And if you're not a member, why not? Hey, hey, Greta. Hey, Amber. Hey, family. I pray all you have a wonderful Sunday. You too, from Arizona. Is it still hot there? I know it is. Demetrius
Hey,
is
Demetrius,
in the
what's up,
house.
D?
Rajal is in the house. Yes. Hit that like button and become a channel member. Hey, Sarah. Good to see you. Want to see you behind the scenes. We saw Allison behind the scenes. Like our merch? We got a merch shop now, y'all, because you guys kept asking about it. You kept asking about it, so we did it. So everybody show Greta some love. Show her some love. Hey, Angie, good to see you. CK is in the house. Kimmy. All right, let's see who else. What else are you guys talking about? Hello from Colorado. So Medellin. Okay, I love it. All right, let's get to it. I'm going to hide that comment. Okay, we are going to do some conversating here. All right. And this is going to be a group effort. I'm just letting you know this is going to be a group effort because we have not been everywhere. We've been to a lot of places, but we haven't been everywhere. Okay. And so, hey, we got a new member. Thank you, Sister B.
Welcome.
Yes. Oh, so, all right. So we're talking about places by region. Okay. Why?
Every country is different.
Right. Yeah.
You know, regions may share languages, families,
language
families, historical connections, cultural and food, transportation networks, cost structures, climate patterns, and visa agreements.
Especially here in the EU, right? And the language patterns, right? Obviously, all Romance languages, but that's probably, and it's true in some African regions as well. I'm not sure about, I don't know enough about Asian, how similar the languages are. I bet you some of the dialects in China, though, are similar. Of course, we ain't going to
It's
China.
funny, Romance languages. All the languages ain't romantic to me.
Why not?
I don't know. I mean, I like French. I like Italian language. Those are kind of sexy languages.
Right. They are. And I don't know why they're called, I can't remember why they're called Romance languages. I knew it one time because they teach you that stuff in school. I don't know if they still do. They don't be teaching too much of nothing, right? But like the culture and the food, right? Transportation networks. Transportation networks can be connected, regional airlines and stuff like that, right? There are, like for the EU, there are certain laws that are universal all amongst the EU countries. Obviously, Portugal still has its own, and Spain and France and Belgium, whatnot, right? We were initially going to go to Spain.
Yes.
But we talked about climate patterns, right? Rick was like, what's that right next to Spain? Oh, yeah, Portugal. I bet you they have similar climate, right? And then the visa agreements that, like, again, you will see that regionally, there's some similarities with the visas and what the requirements are. Okay. And so that's why we're going to talk about them in regions. Another reason is, and shout out to Rashida Dow, who put out a video on slow travel. Slow travel through a region can help you make informed decisions. All right. And also, it's less expensive. It's less expensive if you travel by region, right? And so if you're still in the scouting phase, if you go to a whole region, if you're like, I want to do Southeast Asia, I've been hearing how great Thailand is, but why not check out other places in Southeast Asia? That's the time, right? Don't do that 1 week, 2 week American thing.
No.
Don't do that, all right? So, and the other thing about slow travel is that means you can get out ASAP, right? You can get out of Dodge ASAP because you don't have to go through all of the visa requirements, right? If you're American, there's like 126 or so plus countries that you can just show up, or maybe just fill out a little something online and then show up and stay anywhere from like 30 days to a year.
Yeah, it also allows you to compare several possibilities
at the same time, right?
Stay long enough to experience
ordinary life, right?
Buying groceries, using public transportation, visit a pharmacy.
That's what we did. So when we first got here to Portugal, way back, y'all. If you guys go back and look at those earlier videos, you can still see the stress on my face. I'm not going to speak for him. I can see the stress on my face. Ooh, but I visited a pharmacy because I had forgotten my medication in the States. And so I had our son take a picture. I had the picture. I showed the pharmacist, and she did her stuff on the computer. The pharmacist was Black, by the way. She did her stuff on the computer and figured out what I needed, what the equivalent was, and got it. And I want to say it was under 10 euro. I want to say it was under like 7 euro.
I think it was like 8.
8? Okay. Okay. Right? No insurance, nothing. But that lets you know what's possible, because Stephanie Perry did a video and she was talking about not letting language be a barrier. Y'all, don't be like us. Do not be like us. We came to Portugal. I was so stressed out because I was doing so much. We came to Portugal. We did not even know how to say hello, y'all. We did not know how to say hello. Don't do that. Don't do that. But that let us know that language was not going to be a barrier, and that we could go. I could get my stuff at the pharmacy. You didn't even go in with me, did you?
No.
I think you were waiting outside. Yeah. Get the stuff at the pharmacy using Google Translate or whatever have you, right? And get business done. The other thing you want to do is test the internet.
Oh yeah. Because hey, y'all, we went to South Africa for what, 3.5, 4 weeks, almost a month.
Yeah.
We brought the internet down.
Well, that was the first time.
That was the first time.
Not the last time we went, but yeah, we did.
The first time we went.
To South Africa, because they were still doling out like gigabytes and stuff. It was not all you can eat, and we didn't know.
But it's changed since then.
It's changed since then. Yeah, we haven't done that since, right? So the other thing you want to do is you want to leave the tourist district. All right. When you're doing your scouting trip, leave the tourist district, experience the weather, see how you feel after the vacation energy wears off.
Yes.
Because it will.
Oh, yeah.
It will. Okay. We're talking about life abroad. We're not talking about a vacation. And I'm going to tell you, every single place that Rick and I went on vacation, we were like, we can live here. Mm-hmm. We can live here.
Now we did.
Right? We would be at night after we would, do the sightseeing and all that. We'd be at night looking at real estate and stuff online. Y'all, We hadn't done no homework. We didn't know what it took to get a visa. We didn't know anything. And the bottom line is half of those places we love, love, love to visit, but I don't think we could live in those places. Okay. And so it is a different thing. So do not confuse 3 months of slow travel, y'all,
with permanent residency
or with even temporary residency, long-term residency. Okay. It is not the same. Tourist visa, like even most of the places that you go, there are probably going to be opportunities for you to extend your tourist visa. Okay. And so like even Georgia and Albania, where you can get like a year, and don't sleep those places. I've heard tons and tons and tons of Black folks who have spent a lot of time in Albania and Georgia and seem to love it. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So don't write anything off just because you're like, ooh, I don't know. Because I was ooh, ah, and I don't know about Portugal. Wasn't I? Wasn't I?
Yeah, you were.
Tell the truth. Tell the truth, right? Okay, so don't get confused. We do not want you to be that person who sells everything and shows up and you don't have a long-term visa in hand.
Yeah.
Okay. A place can be wonderful for a length of a tourist visa, especially those shorter ones, those 30, 60, and 90-day visas, and still be poor long-term fit. Okay. So you need to do all of the things. Buy the groceries, get your hair cut, try to get your nails did. Right? Try to get your nails did. Benita said, do your research. And see, Benita was behind the scenes. Benita and her husband have had hiccups. We all had hiccups. I don't know anyone who has not had a hiccup doing this thing. Some have bigger hiccups, some have smaller hiccups. And she said, and still, with all of the hiccups, she does not regret her move whatsoever and would much rather be here than in the States. Would much rather be here than in the States. Yeah. Now, look, on the scouting trip, if you want a soft landing, if you're going to a place that is known not to have a lot of English, chances are they're going to speak English around the tourist area. Okay. But that should not keep you pinned to the tourist area.
No.
Learn to use technology.
Yeah, get out of your comfort zones.
Right? Learn to use technology. And if you need help putting all this stuff together, Greta's got you because we've got your Move Abroad Toolkit is in the chat. Hey, Peggy, good to see you. All right, so Central America and Mediterranean. All right, I don't see any other questions. You like the merch? We got more merch. We got more merch. And we're gonna do a special shirt every quarter. So I've got some stuff that I'm gonna show. The Rwanda looks nice, but I don't know. I don't want to be landlocked. I need the ocean. Yeah. And see, that's the thing. That's why you need to get the Move Abroad Toolkit, because see, sometimes we forget what's important because it's just in there. And sometimes we have ideas about what we want, and then we experience it and we're like, okay, this is going to bore me to death. Or this is too much. This is just too much. I need a slower pace of life, right? Everyone's different. Everyone is different. And so you need to take the time to do that. Hello, Maria. Boa noite a ti. Okay. Y'all know I speak Portugal. Okay. Don't get in my chat. Don't get in my chat. I have the best Portuguese tutor, y'all. She is so great. She is so great. So if you need a Portuguese tutor, let us know. Send us an email. I'll hook you up. Okay. I'll hook you up. All right. Point number 2. Are you visiting? Are you slow traveling? Or are you moving? All right. Because you've got to ask yourself different questions. And then we're going to start getting to the safe places. I promise. But if we got to lay the foundation. So vacation questions. Is it beautiful? This is what we do, right? Is it beautiful? What is there to do? You know, what will a trip cost? You know,
is the tourist area safe?
Right. These are the questions that we ask when we go on vacation. But when we slow travel, we have to ask some different questions.
Yeah, like how long can I legally stay?
right? And do I just show up and get a visa on demand, right? A tourist visa on demand,
Right. Or can I extend my tourist status?
right? As we just said, lots of places will. A lot, you just go down to the immigration office, fill out some paperwork, and they'll extend it. Okay, so check that out.
You want to know, can I find affordable month to month housing?
Right. And so I would say just about every country that you would consider, you can find affordable month to month housing, but not every city in every country that you're considering. Okay. So that's the thing. That is the thing. Is the internet reliable? Can I manage my medications and routine health care? Right. And the internet thing, especially if you're doing a side hustle. Y'all, this side hustle challenge cohort, I think, is the best cohort yet. I'm sorry. Not that they are, it's just that they're more participatory.
Yeah,
not that they're smarter or any of that. It's just that everyone is showing up every single time. And I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Nobody's dropping off and doing that stuff. So, like, if you're doing a side hustle or you're working remotely, you've got to make sure that internet is reliable, y'all. You got to make sure, right?
Yeah.
I heard someone said that, like, on vacation, you have to get permission to take your medications to Japan. So be very aware that every country is not lackadaisical, even when it comes to your prescription medications, even stuff like that we don't even think of, like high blood pressure medicine and high cholesterol, the typical things, right? Just be sure. Just be sure. And then the other thing when you're slow traveling that you need to think about is,
can I live without a car?
Right? I like being carless personally. I like being carless. And, if I didn't have this leg, I'd probably be trying to rent the bikes now that the rain is gone and stuff like that to get around. We've got the electric bikes that our transportation card will let us rent to get from point A to point B. So, yeah, I don't need a car, but that's me.
Hey, when my nephew was here, he was on the little scooters. He went everywhere.
On those little electric
On the
scooters?
little electric scooter, when you were in the hospital and he came to visit, then he
Right.
left.
Right.
He took scooters all over the place.
See? Them cobblestones. Yeah. No, but that's good to hear. That's good to
He
hear.
really enjoyed it. He was trying to get me on them.
And you were like,
Dude,
I did that before.
I'm convalescing still.
Yeah, your knee can't handle it. All right. And so if you're moving, okay, different questions, right? Vacation questions. Is there stuff to have fun? If you're doing long, slow travel, how long is the visa, month to month housing? Is it, reliable internet? Can I manage my medications and all of that stuff? Be without a car. Now, if you're moving, can I qualify for legal residency, right? Will I be able to renew it? Will I still qualify? Or can you renew it? Some countries, it's like you can be here for 2 years and then you got to go. All right. Is there a path to permanent residency or citizenship? These are the questions you need to ask. And maybe you're like, I don't want citizenship. I don't want permanent residency. I just want 2 to 4 years. Okay. Right. Right. What about your income, your Social Security, your pensions, your dividends? How are those going to be taxed? Right. Those are the things you need to think of when you're moving. When you're slow traveling, you don't necessarily need to think of those things. Right. All right.
You need to know if your family can come with you. Can you access quality health care?
Because you're going to be there permanently now, right?
Yeah.
Can I age there?
Yeah, can you age there? We just had a guest this month or last month. Tony and them, when did they come? Last month, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I was asked, can you age here?
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Can I build real community? Right. With the locals as well. Right. Not just stay in an expat bubble. Right. Me and my Portuguese tutor, she's Black, and obviously she speaks some English. Actually, she speaks really good English. She taught herself. And how she taught herself is how she's teaching me Portuguese. She's brilliant. She's just brilliant. And so we're talking about getting together with some Angolan folks, local Angolan folks, and us, and of course, I guess some of those are expats too, but a lot of them are born here, right? And hanging out. So can you build community, right? Can you handle an emergency in the local language, like breaking a leg?
Or
right?
having surgery.
And having surgery, right? Having to call the ambulance and all of that stuff, and then try to figure out how to get the hell out of that public hospital, right? Can I return to the United States quickly if my family needs me? Does this country merely welcome me as a tourist, or can I realistically belong here as a resident? And that's the thing about Portugal for us. We did not feel like a tourist, and people assumed that we lived here.
Yeah.
And they assumed that we spoke Portuguese. That was all I needed to hear.
Yeah, they always assume that, especially if they look at my name and tell me, you have a Portuguese name.
Exactly. All right. What are you guys talking about? Panama lets you grandfather in kids and grandkids. Oh, wow.
Huh.
Which is pretty cool. So they can later come. That is cool, Twana. We didn't know that.
I didn't know about the kids and grandchildren. No.
I mean, I know you can do family reunification with your kids, but I didn't know grandkids. So that's
awesome.
pretty cool. Hey, Teddy. Hi, y'all. A drawback to slow travel for too long is that visa options change. A YouTube couple, Amelia and JP. Oh, I watch them from time to time. Spent the last 3 years slow traveling. Now they decided on Mexico
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Things change, y'all.
Because see, they could have gotten their Mexican visa. I remember when they started, because they started around the same time we started, maybe just a little bit before. They could have gotten their Mexican visa back then. We got our Mexican visa back then. See, people be sleeping in Mexico and then they wait and it's too late and they can't qualify. That's why we say do not wait for any country that will allow you to have residency and not make you stay in the country a certain amount of time. If you think there is a chance that you would want to live there, get that residency.
Get the residency.
Get the residency, y'all. So Rick and I got permanent residency way back in February 2022. And we qualified right off the bat back in them days because people were still, they were still blissfully living in the Biden dream, thinking that all the melon felon nonsense was behind us. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I had a friend that contacted me and wanted our help to see about getting a residency in Mexico. And it had doubled.
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 Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, because he was calling me, asked me, and I told him what to do, where to go. And he said it doubled the residency requirement. And I was like, wow. And if he would have did it when I first told him to do it, he'd have been all right.
Exactly.
But things change.
Things do change. So Gladiola asks, could you discuss countries that do not, I believe she meant to say, that do not require a visa? So I'm not sure if you're talking about, because we're going to discuss regions, but we're not really discussing visas on this, which ones require and which ones don't. Or I shouldn't say that. Which ones have which kinds and what the requirements are. That's a different video, and we've done those videos. As a matter of fact, basically on a lot of the countries that we're probably going to discuss today. But so if you're talking about a tourist visa, sweetheart, there is a list of the 120 or so countries that you can show up. As a matter of fact, we put together a list. We did put together a list, and I believe you can get that on our ourBlackUtopia.thinkific.com and go to our digital downloads. I believe I put together a list. So all of the ones that the United States that we have just, entry on demand as far as a tourist visa. As far as a residency visa, if you want to live there, there is not a country that I know of where you can just show up and say, I want to live here, and you're not a refugee or anything.
Yeah.
Like, you have to have a visa. You have to have a visa. And I know that we hear about people like living in Mexico without a long-term residency visa. Excuse me, they're living on a tourist visa because Mexico, in general, will give Americans 6 months when you get there. And then, let's just say your family's in San Diego. You can make a quick border run to San Diego, hang out for the weekend, and go back and get another 6 months. A lot of apartments in Mexico were not requiring you to have a residency, a long-term residency. So, if you could pay for 6 months at a time, you didn't necessarily need to have long-term residency. The people who were doing that before COVID, they were living large. Then when the lockdown started to happen and things started to happen, people started to realize that it's not going to be as easy just to come and go, come and go, come and go. And that your best bet is to have legal residency. Okay. And so that means you're going to have to jump through hoops. And you're like, look, I want to go today, I'm going to start slow traveling today, bet. But still get your residency in places that do not require you to stay in country. And, so what are those? Really fast, the ones that we know off the top are Mexico, Costa Rica, Panama, and Uruguay. We know those 4. You have to check in from time to time, but you don't have to stay. Okay. All right. One of my reasons for wanting to move to Europe is me not wanting to drive anywhere. Fair enough.
Mm-hmm.
Fair enough. Because the people that we know who live in Joburg, like our family and stuff, like, they all have cars. They all have cars. I mean, when we were there, we didn't have a car, but we were staying right by Mandela Square. We were in walking distance from Mandela Square, where the mall was, all those restaurants and everything else. And so we didn't really need a car. And then we just Ubered when we went to meet people. So Valerina's asking, yeah, I check how much of my prescriptions is allowed on a trip. Okay. So that's another thing. Not just can you take them, or what do you need to, Rick, you always bring your prescriptions with you.
I bring my prescription, the paperwork with me.
Right.
I let them know,
And so he just does that by habit, regardless of whether they require it or not. But yeah, I never thought about how much you can bring in. If you're going to be someplace for 6 months and they're saying you can only bring in 3 months worth of medication, then you've got to make sure that you can renew it, the prescription there, without much,
and make sure they
trouble.
have the medication there.
That part. Okay. Slow travel, but I need an affordable month to month. We're going to talk about what's more affordable. All right, let's get to it. Okay, so we've laid the foundation. The first region we're going to talk about is the Americas. So we're talking about
Mexico, Panama, Costa Rica, Belize, Colombia, Ecuador, Brazil, and Uruguay.
Okay, so here's the deal, folks. These are 2 different regions. These are not, okay, these are 2 different regions. So I would say Ecuador, Brazil, and Uruguay could be one region, right? Colombia, Belize, Costa Rica, Panama, maybe Mexico. That's not that far. That's not that far of a flight, okay? But Uruguay is way down there. Parts of Brazil are way down there. Okay. So let's talk. If you've been to any of these places, let's talk about safety, because when we're, the whole reason we're talking about this is that our own country said that the transatlantic slave trade was not a travesty against humanity. And so if they cannot be trusted, because remember in school when they kept telling us, you have to understand those were the times. Of course, we'd never do that today. Those were those times. So we have to judge those people differently. That's what they always said back in school, remember?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So we're talking about back in those days, and we can't even admit today that it was a travesty. Our own country, y'all, if they cannot be trusted to be honest about their history, how can we trust that they will have values in the future? Right? How can we trust that they will be honest about what is happening in the future? And my answer is we can't.
No. Not
We
at all.
cannot, right? And so we need to go where we are treated better. That's what we need to do. So we've spent time in Mexico, Panama, and Colombia. We have not spent time in Costa Rica, Belize, Ecuador, Brazil, or Uruguay yet. And so I want to hear what you guys have to say, but we'll start out. We spent time in several different places in Mexico, several different cities in Mexico. And I've walked by myself and you've walked by yourself.
Oh, yeah.
And we've never had a car. We Uber a little bit or Didi or whatever we're doing. But I've never felt, and y'all, okay, so for those of you who are newer, you might not have heard the story from a long time ago, but we did end up having to walk through a very working class local neighborhood. Okay, that some Americans might look at and say, it looks sketch.
Yeah, they wouldn't do.
They would be scared. I wasn't scared. It didn't look sketch to me. It looked like working families.
Yeah.
That's what it looked like. And so we were walking from the Walmart and trying to find this place to make copies from a flash drive, and this is that the other. And so we're walking and walking and walking and walking and walking. And yet the most danger I felt was from the cars going too fast.
On the side of the highway
when the sidewalk
went
disappeared.
Away.
Exactly. That's the most dangerous danger I felt. Or from the bus driver who got pissed off because I was confused on the Colectivo. He was like, American, if you don't shut up. I'm sorry, you guys. I'm sorry. Oh my gosh. He was so frustrated with me. And I was confused. I didn't realize that them damn buses went round and round and round. And all we had to do was just stay on the damn bus and it would have just circled back around. But see, these are the things that you get to experience when you slow travel. So you can see, is this something that I want to do every day? Is this pleasurable? Am I finding joy?
Yeah.
Right? And I had fun living in Puerto Vallarta. So we lived in Puerto Vallarta for a little bit. We, when we were there last time, we were in Querétaro and hung out with our friends at Querétaro. And it was suburbs of Querétaro, not Querétaro proper. Still, you know, the Black folks down there that we've talked to through our friends, they feel safe. They feel welcome. Right. And so, because when we're thinking about situations that happened with the young man, oh goodness, Nolan, right? Nolan Wells, like these are the kind of situations that we don't want to have to think about. And these are the kind of situations that are more rare when it comes to being picked out for race in other places. Okay. Now, I'm not saying nothing happens. I'm not saying there is no violence in any of these places. That's not what we're saying.
No.
That's not what we're saying. But we know how much violence is in the United States. And I can bet you dollars to donuts that the majority of these cities are as safe, if not safer, than any place in the United States, and then the major cities in the United States.
I have felt safer in all of our travels and throughout the world that we travel. I felt safer there than in the United States at any given moment. I've walked the streets, and there's places in the United States I wouldn't walk the streets.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
And I was a resident there.
Oh, wait a minute. Okay, Yakota and Peter trying to rack up these residencies.
Hey, they are real, for real world citizens. You know, for real.
Can I be jealous?
I give you guys, I pay homage to you guys because you guys are
hashtag
awesome.
Goals.
You know?
Because I really, when we went on this last trip, it did not go as planned because I planned to come back with Panama and Uruguay or check out Uruguay. I did. And had I known how easy it was, I would have made more of an effort. I definitely would have. That's all right. That's all right.
Y'all doing it.
That's all right.
Can you adopt me?
Yeah, we can do family reunification. We can do family reunification. Okay. I am marking the ones. Your knees will adjust, Jazzy. It took Rick a minute.
Yeah, it does. It takes a minute, but you get there.
And you've got to get really good shoes, right?
You do.
Like you can't wear shoes with no support. You can't wear like the flat little cute sandals with no cush or anything like that on those.
That is so important. So important to have your shoes.
It really is. It really is. I just love. We just had to pay that price. We just had to pay that price. So thank you. Demetrius just became a YouTube member, and of course, Sister B that we mentioned earlier. Thank you guys. Welcome to the family. Welcome to the family. All right. T. Marie says, I spent time in Puerto Viejo, Costa Rica. I felt super safe. It just gets too dark too soon for me to live there. Oh, interesting. Huh.
So
I guess
are you around?
It's close to the equator. It's closer to the equator. Yeah. That's why. Because, yeah, we're farther north, and our friends from California were shocked that at 9:30, it was like still light. Well, now it's not. No, it's not. But during the equinox a month ago, it was. Now the days are getting shorter again. Doggone it. But yeah, so I guess the closer you get to the equator, you just have the same amount. Yeah. Interesting. Never thought about that. Look, my mom got depression when there was no sunshine. So if sunshine is something that you need and you need long days, you need long days. The thing about it is the places that do have long days usually have winters. Dreary winters. Even partially dreary winters, like, right? This was a dreary winter here. Usually we have some days of sunshine, not just rain.
Yeah, this last one was.
It was hard. All right. I walked through a sketchy part of Guadalajara. I was more concerned with the heat. I know New York City sketchy growing up, so was not worried. That's the thing. Common sense, right? That is the thing. And the media will have you thinking that these places, like, right, they always take, these but these anomaly situations where some mass shooting happens, like there's not mass shootings in the United States every other week, right? And they'll take some mass shooting where some tourists happen to be or in a tourist area, and they'll blow it out of proportion and act like this is happening every week when it happens, once every 10 years or so, right? We know mass shootings happen in the United States probably more than any other place, definitely more than any other developed nation, because most of the developed nations don't allow all them damn guns, right? Um, even in Cancun, even in Cancun at night, right? I didn't even feel pickpockety vibes,
No, no.
right?
And we went all over the place in
We went all,
Cancun
yeah,
because
we
we went
did.
to the neighborhood in where they were partying
We
and
went into the city of Cancun,
yeah,
not just the tourist
yeah.
area.
It was yeah, and that's one of the things you have to do, or not have to do, but you should do, is get off the beaten path
Yeah, yeah,
because you'll discover a whole lot of things going on. The people, you know, just things to do.
right. So what we do when we slow travel, two things. One is I like to take a food tour, especially if it's a place where I'm not familiar with their food. Because the first time we went to Spain, y'all, we saw them hams hanging up in the window. Oh my gosh. I felt like we were back in the 1800s. I'm like, I'm not eating no meat
With them
hanging up in
hanging
no
there.
damn window. Little did I know it was like cured. But we went on a food tour in Madrid. In Madrid.
Yes, we did.
And so he took us to have tapas, and we had some of that ham, and there's this special way you've got to shave it and da 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 da. And it can go up to, I'm doing this because it can go up to like $400 and $500 and $600 a pound.
Oh yeah, for real.
But we learned about that. We learned about Spanish tortillas, which are different than Mexican tortillas, and this and that. We saw all of this stuff, and we're like, what is that? Ooh, I don't know. But then when we went on the food tour and he explained it, we loved everything.
Oh yeah.
We loved everything. And then we went back for more. So when we were in Cancun, we did was that a food tour?
You didn't? Did you do the taco? Yeah, you did the taco tour, but you didn't eat all the stuff that they had in some of them tacos.
Oh yeah. Oh, okay. So it was a taco tour. Yeah. Now, y'all,
they had some interesting stuff in them tacos.
Look, and Stephanie was talking about, I know my food. I know my food. I know my food in Spanish. I know my food in Portuguese. I'm not eating tongue. I'm not eating brain or eyeballs or I'm not eating any organs. I don't care if you do put it in a taco shell with some salsa. I'm not eating it.
So they offered us the American taco and the local taco, which had.
And we had the same thing in Thailand. With the soup, we had a gringo version.
That soup.
I know. We'll talk about that when we get to Asia. All right. We'll talk about that when we get to Asia. All right. Yeah. Look, we did that in Cancun. So here's the thing: the tour took us out of the tourist area. So then when the tour was over, it dropped us off where it started, outside of the tourist area. So we just decided to walk around, and one of the squares and maybe parks happened to be having a little festival and this and that. So we hung out there. I remember
that's
that.
what I was talking about.
Yeah. So we hung out there to see what was going on. Then we walked through the neighborhoods a bit. Guys, people are just lovely everywhere. They really, really are. And they really are. So these are the things that you have to do. Get out of the tourist area. Out. All right. What else are you guys talking about? Going to start working with my granddaughter to get her Mexican passport. Oh, wow. Yay. Black folks, we need another passport. I'm still not sure that it's not too late for America. I'm still not sure. So we need another passport because they're trying to take us back to the 1800s, and we can't have that. We cannot have that. So if you've got Caribbean grandparents or something like that, do that thing. Please talk about age and pre-existing condition issues. Oh, as far as healthcare. Okay. So this is how it works in Portugal, which means these are questions that you need to ask. I'm not saying that it works this way everywhere, but there is no ACA outside of the United States, right? And so here in Portugal, if you have a pre-existing, they can deny. They don't usually deny you. They deny covering the pre-existing.
Yeah.
And usually it's just for a certain amount of time. Thankfully, healthcare here is reasonable. It's reasonable. And for us, it's affordable because America's out of control. And now that I've gotten some final prices, I think my broken leg would have cost about $125,000 or so in the United States. 6 days in the hospital.
Well, yeah.
Right? And it cost us 5,000 euro. So I don't know, $5,500, something, 58, something like that. All right.
That's what we paid.
That's
out
what
of
we
pocket.
Yeah.
But
yeah, we just got approved. So the money's supposed to be coming
Yeah,
back. I just
so we
gave
should
them
get-
our checking account number so that they could deposit the money back. So I'll let you guys know what we get back. So the other thing about insurance here is that they can cancel you after the age of 70. Now, we work with a organization called Serenity. They are a medical concierge service. And so because they work with a lot of retirees, they go out and find good insurance companies that don't do that. Okay. And so we've been fortunate in that regard. The other thing that we had to do is we had to show that all the pre-existing conditions that we were covered for 5 years
Right.
continuously.
Continuous coverage
Thank you, sweetie.
for a minimum of 5 years.
Right. Well, no, it's a minimum of 3 years.
Well, minimum of 3 years.
But we showed 5 years.
Right.
Let's just not, we ain't gonna play. All right. So we showed 5 years of continuous coverage. And so they went ahead and covered that pre-existing. So I'm assuming that was your question. Okay. My friend who lives in Thailand, I'm going to save this for when we get to Thailand. Okay. When we were there, I was mistaken for a local. That's what I'm saying. She's talking about when she was in Portugal. That's what I'm saying. It's nice. And that's the one thing about Mexico. That's the only thing. You really can't blend in.
No.
Not in most of the places. Now, maybe in Veracruz.
I was going to say maybe in different places.
Yeah, right. In Veracruz, where they have more Black folks, maybe you can Afro Latinas and Latinos, then maybe. All right. Panama, same thing. Blend in. You blend in Panama. Lots of Black folks. And we walked those streets. We did not take Ubers. We walked those streets at night. We walked those streets during the day. And
hey, I didn't feel no worries.
No worries. Okay. And so I would not even walk from my house to the Whole Foods in Denver at night by myself. I would not. You wouldn't even let me.
No.
But you let me walk to the local grocery store here.
Oh, yeah.
Now it's closer. But that's not the point. I'm still walking. And it doesn't matter whether it's a block or 2 blocks. It just takes a little time for something to happen, right? Right. But the thing is that it's just safer. It is just safer. Everybody ain't got no gun. Everybody's not so angry. See, that is the thing too. America has sold us on this lie. And so this lie that if you work hard, keep your nose clean, you too can become a millionaire. And it's a lie. It is a lie, right? And now billionaire. That's a super duper 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 lie. And so people are pissed. They're pissed because they're like, what the hell happened? I did the things and I'm still broke. When we go to America, I feel like a low level of rage that is just permeating, like it's palpable. You can feel it. It's like it feels like everybody is just like this far away from knocking you in the United States. Oh my gosh. And you would think that places that have a bit more poverty, that you would have more anger. But I haven't seen it. And maybe it's because they're more grateful. Maybe the average American has lost its gracious gratefulness. Right? I don't know. So if anybody has been to Costa Rica or Belize, let us know in the chat. If you're watching from the future, hey, if you're watching on LinkedIn or Substack, hey, let us know in the comments. Colombia, okay. There are always sketchy parts of every single city in every single country.
Oh yeah.
Okay. There just is. I have no idea where the sketch parts of Medellin are because I didn't see them. Did you? Do you remember seeing them?
No.
We didn't pass through them. So we were staying in Racialized. Yes. I know. It's gorgeous though, and I chose that specifically. I did not want to stay in the other place that a lot of expats stay that starts with a P. I can't think of it right now because it's hilly. You know?
Oh, yeah, the touristy place.
Yeah, it's hilly, and there's a lot of hotels over there. Whereas in Racialized, there may be hotels on the main boulevard, but a lot less, and it's flat. So that's why we stayed there. Then we also, we stayed out late, and we were walking around even just over there underneath Comuna 13. We were walking around there, and we were walking downtown in the historic district. Same with Cartagena. Of course, in Cartagena, we went into the neighborhood, but Cartagena really is the story of the have and have-nots, is what I saw. And the further you get away from the tourist area where the wall is, the less investment that I saw. But yeah, even outside, because we stayed outside of the wall in Cartagena, and walking around at night.
Yeah.
You know? So, all right, what you guys talking about? I'll go all the way to the end here. We aren't just angry. Americans have a horrible history, and we live with the descendants of those people who are still teaching their children to hate and that historical racial bias. Indeed. Okay. I heard this analogy that I must repeat, and it was an analogy, an argument for reparations. And I'm bringing this up because we're talking about the horrible history and the fact that one of the reasons why America is in the position that it's in is because it hasn't reconciled itself with the past, right? And it needs to. And it needs to. So this guy was saying, and some of you probably heard this argument. I saw it on a video. He was saying, okay, so if a Black person steals your mama's car, that's still your mama's car, even if he's driving it around acting like it's his, right? Yeah, that's still your mama's car. He's driving around a stolen car. Okay. And then if he gives that car to his kids, does that mean his kids are not driving around a stolen car and taking advantage of the fact that they got this free car?
Yeah.
Right? That's still homeboy's mama's car. And then if that car is given to the grandkids, and maybe it's like a 1965 Mustang and it's valuable, it's still homeboy's mama's car. And the grandkids didn't steal it. They're like, I ain't got nothing to do with it. I didn't steal it. Yes, but you still have a stolen car and you're not doing anything about it. You are not repairing the damage. I thought that was one of the best analogies, and everyone could understand this. And until the United States repairs the damage, it is never, ever going to be the country that it could be. And it just refuses to look at itself in the mirror. It refuses. And so I don't know, like, what do you do? Right? Right? But you benefit from it and you won't fix it, right?
Mm.
Now you driving around a hoopty and you pissed off, right? You pissed off that you got a hoopty, but it was a free hoopty. It was a free hoopty and it was not yours. You're still driving around a stolen car.
Right.
The people of today, white folks of today, are benefiting from what their great-great-grandparents did. They still are driving around the stolen car. I think the anger comes from the lies. We were sold a bill, right? We were sold a bill of goods where other countries aren't sold the same bill of goods. Y'all, you can't keep telling me that we're getting rain when you're pissing on me. And you expect me just to keep believing it and keep believing it and keep believing it. Even his own folks are saying, no. I'm hungry and I ain't got enough money. There's more month than there is money at the end, right? Whereas other countries are sold that same bill of goods, that's acceptable when you know reality versus promises unrealized, right? I get it. I get it. All right, what else are you guys talking about besides talking to each other? I love the fact that you guys are just all up in the chat talking to each other and everything else. I love it. Lima, Peru is much better choice, and check out the Miraflores area. So thank you, Killer Queen.
Killer Queen.
Peru has been making quietly creeping up on our list. So when we're there, when we're checking out the region of southern South America, when we're in Brazil and Uruguay, and Peru is, I mean, no, it's a little bit further north, but it's still over there, further south than like Colombia, Venezuela up there, right? So yeah, Peru.
I don't know. Dakota and Peter might beat us to that.
I don't know. They're everywhere.
They are everywhere.
They are everywhere. Hit that like button. If you find this information interesting, hit that like button. 74-year-old single solo traveler here. Montevideo, Uruguay is very safe, but it's way too far south for me. Okay. So these are the questions that you have to ask yourself. Because for some folks, they're like, the further I can get away from the United States, the better. As a matter of fact, and I'm not going to want to be, I'm going to take 1 or 2 big trips a year. And so I'm good, right? It all depends on who you are and how you want to live. Now, Uruguay is too far south to us as well. However, might not be saying that if stuff pops off, right? Options.
Message.
Exactly. Right. And so Montevideo, Uruguay is on our list. Definitely. My gosh, this thing keeps moving. I'm sorry, you guys. I'm trying to get all of these in. All right. I think I've got all of them. So let's start here with Dennis. Thank you, Dennis. Thank you. As you all know, every single donation, super chat, super thanks, super sticker goes to our scholarship fund for Beyond the Bling. Beyond the Bling is not available right now because we are rolling out Beyond the Bling 3.0. So if you want a scholarship to 3.0, you still do the same thing. Send us an email, put scholarship in the subject line. You don't have to give us a diatribe. We trust you. Just say that you want one. And when we launch 3.0, which is coming up, then, we have scholarships available. You'll get one. Okay. There's no, you don't have to apply or anything.
Explanation.
It's not that deep. All right. So Dennis says, I'll get the scoop on China. Okay. In October, I got a multi-year entry visa to travel there. I also have a friend who's been living there, I believe he means, for 7 years in a historic province, and he likes it. I have seen a few Black folks on YouTube only that like it, that really do like it. And I know I wouldn't, not to live. I would love to visit, but not to live. Um, yeah, I think it's just too different. I think it's just too different. And them touching my hair and stuff, I couldn't do it. But to each their own. To each their own. So I cannot wait to hear what you have to say, Dennis, when you come back.
Definitely.
I want to hear, because I mean, I love hearing the adventures that people have, and I know it's a beautiful country. I know it is. There's beauty to be found everywhere. Yes, the Ham Museum in Madrid. I went past there when I was studying. Ham Museum in Madrid. I don't think we got to go there. What about Valencia? Yeah, yeah. But we're not on Europe yet. We're not on Europe yet. We haven't even got to Europe. We haven't gotten there. So if as a matter of fact, if there's anything outside of the Americas, I'm going to save it for when we get to that region. Okay. What are the general thoughts on? Okay, that's Thailand. We'll get to there. I had Southern grandparents. Don't turn your nose up at hash and rice. They put on the entire pig's head on that. Oh, I miss it. Oh, you're
from the rooter to the tutor.
See, look, that's why I do the food tours, so I can have someone explain to me what I am eating, so that I don't get, because I will get weirded out in a minute. Okay, in a minute.
She don't eat seafood though either.
Okay, so Valerina did a walking tour in Medellin, Colombia. Tour guide took us through sketchy neighborhood and warned us about cell phone thefts. Otherwise felt safe.
What was the sketchy neighborhood?
Yeah, well, I wonder what neighborhood that was. Yeah, but we got warned about cell phone theft in Madrid and Barcelona by restaurateurs. So,
and here too.
Yeah,
quiet as kept.
Yeah, I haven't heard of anybody getting their cell phone like snatched out of their hands like that,
laying it on the table or something.
Exactly. Like so the easiest countries to get residencies in this, when we're talking about Mexico, Panama, Costa Rica, Belize, Colombia, Ecuador, Brazil, Uruguay. I don't know much about Brazil, but I'm going to say that the ones that allow you to come and go are probably going to be the easiest. That's going to be Uruguay, Costa Rica, Panama, and Mexico. Colombia, when we were checking out their visa, it was a little bit convoluted, and it wasn't easy to see which one was the retirement visa, et cetera, et cetera. But they do have a visa. Ecuador has a visa. Brazil, they all have visas that you could qualify for. But as I said, those four are going to be the easiest. All right. And, I think Black Americans are most attracted to these areas because of the proximity to the United States, right? Shorter flights to home, familiar time zones, much lower cost of living for the most part, right? The private healthcare options are great. A lot of these places have medical tourism, which means they have really great healthcare, right? Warmer climates. There's established expat communities in a lot of these places, right? So that's why, that's why. All right, we are going to go on to, okay, we talked about all that. We talked about that. So yeah, it's anybody slow traveled through South America. I would love to hear what was your favorite place. And if you're in the comments, let us know, right? And then what should someone know before doing a scouting trip to that place? Okay, let us know in the chat, or let us know in the comments if you're watching from the future. I hope the future is great. I hope it's better than right now. I always hope the next moment is always better. All right, we are moving to the continent of Africa. As y'all know, Africa is not a country, right? Every utopian knows that Africa is not a country, right? Right. There are tons of, I don't know how many countries there are in Africa. I want to say like
57.
I want to say like something like that. So In Africa, every region does not necessarily have the infrastructure that's probably going to make you happy in the long term. Okay. Today, if you see, and now this is very important, if you see things going in the right direction and they have a pathway to residency that does not require you to stay there, I would go ahead and get that residency, because what is true today is not necessarily true tomorrow.
Right.
And a country that is going in the right direction 7 years from now may be the Portugal of the time. Okay. And everybody and their mama might be trying to go there. If you've already got residency, you're good to go. Right? You're good to go. Okay. So Africa, of course, we're talking about Ghana. Of course, we're talking about Ghana because it's probably going to be one of your softer landings because of the community that is already there.
Mm-hmm.
Because they have made an effort to welcome folks off, welcome, people from the diaspora back home, right? And so, we've heard good things about Ghana. I've heard things about like getting conned and stuff like that. Just, having to deal with rigmarole. But I haven't heard of anything about danger. Right? And when I say rigmarole, I'm thinking about some friends of ours last time they were there, and a homeboy was like, all right, well, for $20, I can take you to XYZ place. And then we're there. I think my partner's going to be there. And so if you got another $15, then he can take you to the final destination. Stuff like that. It's like, you know what? I don't want to deal with all of that. That's me. And that's when you are a tourist. That's when you're visiting. Once you live there and once you have the rhythm, even with slow travel, right? You connect into the groups. You find out all of the things that you need to find out, right? You get the name of the drivers, right? Even here in Portugal, people have drivers. You see this more in South America, you see this more in Africa, but even here people have drivers. That doesn't mean that they're driving them around all the time, but they have a special person that when they are going, maybe someplace dressy or they're going a long distance, this is the person that they call. His phone's ringing. All right. And so these are the things that you will find out in the expat groups, which is why it is so important to be in community. All right. And why you should be coming to our reunion, winter reunion or summer reunion. You say, well, I'm not moving to Portugal. Everybody who comes to the reunions is not coming to Portugal. They're not trying to move to Portugal. And some people have already moved and they're coming from where they were because we have a good time. So the summer reunion 2027 is during Juneteenth week. Y'all know that. And of course, we're having a winter reunion. And this is where you find out all of these things. The same person, Benita, who's up there right now, they are about to move. And she found a place less than she thought in the city of Lisbon. She said she found it through the group. And this is what I tell you. When you first come, that first time, it's going to be more expensive because you don't know. You get into the groups, they tell you where the inexpensive places are. They connect you with the right people, and all of a sudden your expenses start to come down. All right. Also on our list is Botswana, Tanzania, Kenya, and Mauritius. Okay. Now, South Africa, Tanzania, Mauritius, those are all going to be in the southern part. Kenya is going to be a little bit further north, right? So if I were doing, I'm thinking Botswana is right above South Africa, if I'm remembering correctly. Y'all correct us because utopians be knowing. Utopians be knowing. So if I were going to do this regionally, I would be doing Botswana, Tanzania, South Africa, and Mauritius. And then I would be doing Ghana and Kenya And why not go to Rwanda? Because why not?
Why not?
Even if you have no intention of living there because it's landlocked, but why not? Because you're there, right? And once you're there, it's always cheaper. So yeah. And so let's talk about the safety. We have spent a lot of time in South Africa. We've spent a lot of time in Cape Town, in Stellenbosch. We have friends there. We have family there, and in Joburg. And I know that it is getting more dangerous in Johannesburg. We have heard, but it ain't. Denver is now has more violent crime than Los Angeles.
Gosh, yeah.
Denver has more violent crime than Los Angeles. And I bet you that Johannesburg is safer than both Denver and LA. One thing you're not going to necessarily be dealing with is cops pointing you out because you're Black. Ain't going to have to deal with that. Right?
No.
That's for doggone sure. All right. That's for doggone sure. We have been out very, very late in South Africa, both in Johannesburg and in Cape Town and in Stellenbosch. We've been there during times when they said all of this xenophobia stuff was going on. Right. And so, and I mean, if you're a buster, you're a buster, right? But if you are your average Black American coming from even a medium-sized city, we know how to behave. So South Africa would be on my list. I love South Africa.
Yeah.
Again, if it weren't just as far south as Uruguay.
Yeah, South Africa is a spot.
It feels so good because it's easy. It's easy because they speak English, but it's all Black. It's lovely, y'all. Oh, love. It's lovely. It's lovely. It's lovely. So haven't been to Botswana, Tanzania. They're on our list. If y'all have been there, let us know. Let us know. I want to see who has been to the continent. The luxury bucket list is your requirement. Okay, you're talking. Why am I all up in your guys' conversation? Okay, I was right. Yes, north of South Africa. Hey, I remember. Okay, but can be difficult to fly around Southern Africa. Yes. Yes. Their carriers don't seem to be as integrated as they are in Asia. So they've got some work to do there. Mauritius is beautiful. It is beautiful, y'all. It is beautiful. Now, I can't remember if it's Mauritius or Seychelles that my sister does not like. But then she was raised in South Africa. She lives in South Africa now. And so she sees things that we might not see.
Yeah. I thought she said Seychelles.
I thought it was Seychelles too. Okay, watch Black in China and Fell Tommy's. Okay, we'll get to that. I'm going to mark that when we get to Asia because we're still on Africa. Okay. There is 3-country regional visa, including Kenya and 2 bordering countries. Oh, a regional visa. That's good to know, CK. Thank you. See, utopians be knowing stuff. We be knowing stuff. That's good to know. So we're going to remember that because all of these places are on our list, not to live, but definitely to travel.
Yes.
I'm thinking about Kenya too. Beautiful people in Kenya. Beautiful people. And I've got friends who go to the capital on a regular basis. They love it. Has anyone checked out Madeira? Which is really off the coast of northwestern Africa. Yeah, it really is. Yeah, I mean, Madeira is for those of you who don't know, it is a Portuguese island. It is not a former colony. It's actually part of the country of Portugal. It's not a territory. It's part of Portugal. And but yeah, it's down there just off of northwestern Africa, and it's like a 40-euro flight, y'all. and we have not been, but it's gorgeous. We have a lot of friends who have been, and we probably would have gone by now. This leg, y'all. That's okay. That's okay. We will go. But yeah. So I should have saved that for when we get to Europe. My niece visits Ghana every year and really wants to move, loves it there. She just can't right now because of her young son and co-parenting. Yeah. Yeah. And here's the thing. Here's the thing, y'all, because if you know anyone who is in these kinds of positions, I would get my young Black child out of the United States. The earlier, the better, before they get programmed and indoctrinated, right, into that self-hate nonsense. I mean, it's almost too late by 5 years old, but stuff can be undone. It really can. Angie likes South Africa. Oh, 52 or 54 countries. Yeah, 54 countries, 64 countries. I hear, see, 52 countries, 54, 64 countries. Brazil changed their policies due to a large amount of African-American males. There are a couple of male expat YouTubers who cover this issue extensively. That sounds like some passport bro stuff to me. I don't know, but that's what it is. Why are all the males going to Brazil? I mean, I know. All right. This young Chinese lady escaped, but still has family. Okay, we'll talk about that when we get to Asia. Okay. All right, y'all. All right. Let's take that out. I see a lot of Asia stuff. Buy books on Africa detailing all the 54 countries, or watch vloggers who are showcasing Africa, especially Addis Ababa, Addis, I think it's Addis, which is looking to become a smart city and possibly the capital of Africa. Really? In Ethiopia? Interesting. Huh. I was in Kenya for the month of February this year. Nairobi was wonderful, and Mombasa has beautiful beaches on the Indian Ocean. Okay. Oh, you guys, see all these beautiful places. There's too many beautiful places to see. Went to Cape Town and Joburg. Would love to see other parts of Africa. Yes. Like I said, if you've never been to the continent, South Africa's easy. It's just easy. I call it Africa light. I've been to Morocco. Okay. I love it. I saw an NPR report that said London is safer than 10 of America's largest cities. And listen, I bet you it's safer than more than that. Oh, okay. So back to South. It was called Parque San Antonio in downtown Medellin. Oh, yeah, we were down there. It's congested, lots of working girls. Yeah, we were down there.
Yeah.
We were down there, but yes, it's a little sketchy, but I didn't feel threatened.
No.
You just can't be naive. Yeah. Like walking around like, oh, with your bag all open, that would be goofy. Doing all that kind of stupid stuff. But you just be aware, still take your pictures, but be aware, look people in the eye. I see you. Right? That's what we do. All right, let me make sure that we don't have any more Africa stuff in here or South America, and we will keep it moving. Okay, we don't. All right. The next, okay, let's talk a little bit more about Africa. What you're going to experience in South Africa is going to be very different than what you experience like in a Ghana or a Kenya. Okay. The regions and their history are going to affect all of that. Who colonized them, if they were colonized, because every country was not colonized, right? Who colonized them is going to affect that as well. So, I know there is an emotional pull for returning to the continent, our ancestral connection and all
Right.
of that, but that does not automatically mean that there's going to be a cultural connection, right? And maybe that's why like there's such a connection for us with South Africa because there's such a similar history and they're all mixed up as well, you know, ethnically, right? And so when I look at them, it's like, all right, you can be American,
Yeah, that's true.
right?
That's so true.
And whereas other Africans from other, you can definitely see the tribal, similarities that without the mixing when we go to other countries. And so that may be one of the reasons why South Africa feels so like home. I think the most important thing is that we just have to remember to arrive with humility. It's
Yes.
very easy to show up acting like a colonizer, y'all. And we utopians, we don't show up like colonizers, right? That's not what we do. We don't show up acting like or thinking that we know better than they or we know more than they do, right? Right? So, because like modern Africa versus the stereotypes that we grew up with, I'm sure everyone who's watching knows. But
Yeah.
I don't know because I've heard some things from some people, especially in the comments, and it's like they're watching 1964 National Geographic.
Yeah.
Whereas even back in 2008, in a lot of ways, South Africa was so much further ahead of us, especially with cell service technology, right?
Yeah.
Business opportunities, sometimes they're ahead of us with entrepreneurship, right?
Oh, yeah.
You're going to find the differences in the food and the art and the music and culture. So you want to really, really do your research on the residency and diaspora programs, right? The language, the political stability, right?
Yeah. Healthcare.
The infrastructure, like the roads and all of that stuff, right? Electricity. We know that South Africa is still dealing with the electrical grid, and the rolling blackouts. But again, I now see that at our income level, we would be able to afford to have a generator, and at least at home, it would not have a major impact on our lives if we lived in South Africa. So all of these things you need to think about, right? Property ownership rules. Some countries in Africa are not LGBTQ friendly because the colonizers got down there with that effed up version of Christianity that they're peddling, right? Where it's just about hate and not about love. So those are some of the things that you're going to have to ask yourself. But the countries that we have mentioned are a lot more progressive in those regards. Okay. So you want to make sure, again, that you have the ability to build community. Mm-hmm. So let us know who spent time on the continent and what surprised you most. What surprised me most about South Africa the first time we went is I could not find any African fabric. It was really hard for me to find African fabric. Remember that? Sanla had us looking everywhere. And when we were in the township, he was asking all the aunties.
Right.
I was like, what the heck? So that surprised me. The first time we landed in the first restaurant we saw was KFC. Yeah. That surprised me. All right, we're going to keep it going. Let's go to Asia, y'all. Let's go to Asia. Let us know. So we are talking about
Thailand, Malaysia, Vietnam, Indonesia, the Philippines.
All right.
Yeah.
People are getting drawn to Southeast Asia. The food in Thailand and Malaysia is on another level. Now, I heard that the Philippines is just okay. It's just okay. I've heard that you have to go to Auntie's house to get the good food in the Philippines. Now, that might not be the case anymore, but that's what I have heard.
Somebody's been to the Philippines. Let us know.
Yeah, let us know
us your
if that's changed, right? Do they have these restaurants and stuff? Because they didn't back in the day, right? But you are going to find a much lower cost of living in Southeast Asia compared to the other two regions that we talked, even compared to South Africa. Because I'm saying it that way because I'm trying to remember the first time that we were there, it was about 8 or 9 rand to the dollar. That was back in 2008. Now, unfortunately for them, it was about 18 or 19 rand to the dollar. So our money went a lot further. And it seemed like we were paying a lot of the same prices in 2024, I think we were. Yeah. I think we were there in 24.
Yeah.
Than we did in 2008. So the thing about Asia is that this is my experience. The old are temples. So right, like in Europe, the old are castles and cathedrals. Well, cathedral, temple, basically the same thing, right? A religious building. That's what the old. Otherwise, it is super duper 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 modern. Super duper 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 modern. I mean, skyscrapers to the sky, to the heavens, gorgeous, great infrastructure, great public transportation, food from all over the world. What else?
I mean, people.
The people are lovely. Strong private healthcare system, right? In most of those locations, especially in the major cities. Food. Now, warm weather, no, it's hot. Y'all, it's hot there. So if you need heat, if you don't mind like Houston, New Orleans heat with that humidity, Southern Florida heat, if you don't mind that, okay, Southeast Asia is your place. Southeast Asia, I could live there if I had to. I would make a way for the food alone. I would make a way for the food alone, but that heat, woo, Lord have mercy. But I can't wait to go back, right? They have large international communities in these places, right? I think one of the key challenges is the flights, the long flights, especially from the US, right? If you are watching us from Britain, not as bad. Obviously, if you're watching us from Australia, we don't have too many viewers from Australia, but we do. Obviously not as bad, but Canada, United States,
long flight.
It's a long flight. So for emergency travel, it can be expensive. So you're going to need to work that into your budget. Y'all remember last year, I got a call at like midnight my time. You need to get here. Your dad is probably not going to make it. I was on a flight, 6 a.m. Now, I can't even imagine what that would have cost from like Bangkok to LA. I have no idea. And then the time zone difference. Again, all of this stuff is work outable. If you find joy, and I know I could find me some joy in parts of Southeast Asia, believe me when I tell you, then you will find a way around these things. But these are the things that you need to consider. Let us know what else, for a lot, there's quite a few of you guys talking about Southeast Asia.
Yeah, a lot of people.
Right? So let us know what are some of the things that you're having to work through that you would not have to work through if you were choosing a place that was closer to the United States and all that entails. Right? Now, here's the thing, y'all, because we believe if you are going to relocate to another country, you should learn the language. You should learn the language. I'm not sure if I could learn a language where I can't read the writing. That's the only thing. And so that was one thing that was making me nervous about Thailand, but of course they use our writing as well. But do they teach the language using our writing, and do they just write it phonetically? What do they do? I don't know. But it seems like, and I know with the sounds, like just a little emphasis here or a little emphasis there can totally change the meaning of the word and stuff I've heard. So y'all, I don't know. But again, that's me. That's me. Some people are just into it, and it is possible. We know folks who know an Asian language. So we know, we've learned, we Black folk, we can learn whatever we need to learn. We know that, right? We know that. I think Southeast Asia is probably going to be the place that is most unfamiliar, right? Totally different customs. Most folks have a totally different religion. Lots of Christians there too, but but by and large, different religion, right? Again, to me, that's no big deal. That is no big deal. I'm not that religious anyway. So it's now the air quality in some of those places. That's one of the things that you're going to have to consider if you're asthmatic or something like that. It's something that you're going to have to experience.
Some places have the burning seasons.
The burning seasons and things like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Black folks, the Black folks that we have heard from love Southeast Asia. Okay, now we're going to get to the Asia stuff, the China and everything this. We have had to deal with the colorism. We have had to deal with the colorism, but I'm going to tell you, every place that we went to in Southeast Asia, there were other Black folks there, and I could tell that they were African. I could tell that they were African. Okay. Now I don't know if the Asians knew that we weren't African. I mean, African American, of course, African by descent, but you know what I mean. Because they can't always tell. All right, so Benita says this young Chinese lady escaped, but still has family in China, jailed, beaten, killed, tortured. I didn't know they still did that kind of stuff in China. I know they do that kind of stuff in like North Korea and places like that, but of course, you know what? They do that kind of stuff in the United States, and and Israel too. So let's not get up on high horses and act like no, this stuff is happening everywhere. All of our babies who are come up hanging from trees and stuff like this. What in the heck is going on? And they're just talking about it's just suicides and stuff like that. Please don't get me started. So yeah, that kind of craziness is happening everywhere. Watch Black in China and Fel Tommy's U-Teen vlogs. Both live in China and are from Africa who love their lives. You get a greater understanding of the different Chinese areas. Now, this is an advantage that Africans have over us because the Chinese have been on the continent for a long ass time. And so they have a different relationship with
different relationship.
Sometimes it's still just as effed up because I've seen them videos that they did, those exploitive videos with our babies. I've seen them having them, act like monkeys and stuff like that and say stupid stuff in a language that they don't understand. But that there's assholes in every ethnicity and every culture. There's always some assholes.
True.
So good advice. So Jack says, what are your general thoughts on Thailand, which you just heard? Cost of living is one of the cheapest I've seen in my research, especially towns near the beach like Hua Hin. The only downside is so far. Yes. You can find affordable housing, bigger bang for the buck. You don't have to go way out. You can find it in Phuket. Now, and I would say especially if you don't know anybody, start in a city where there's a lot of expats. Okay, just start there. You can always move, right. But if you start where there are a lot of expats, there are certain questions that you're going to have that locals can't answer. Okay, you're going to need to hear from expats. So, for instance, if I were back home in LA or Denver and somebody asked me where the immigration office is, I'm going to tell them it never occurred to me to know where the immigration office was. Right? Right? But I bet you if they asked another immigrant, they could tell them where the immigration office. This is why you need to know other expats, because locals are not going through the immigration process. So they're for anything else, they're at least not going to be able to answer those questions. And they're not going to necessarily be able to answer where can you get your hair braided, etc. All right.
And I don't know if it was the Yarboroughs who were talking about things changing in Thailand.
Yeah, they were. They were.
Some immigration changes are being made in Thailand. So
yep,
check it out.
Yeah. And don't wait, because what is true today is not, I gotta clean this computer, is not necessarily going to be true tomorrow. Thailand used to be one of the easy places. And if I remember correctly, it used to be easy to do border runs from Thailand as well. But I think with the, passport bro type people, and then just a huge influx in general, I think they are tightening up. I'm going to tell you, the locals that we talked to, they were not happy about all of those Russians in Phuket. They were not.
Oh, no.
And it wasn't that they weren't happy because they are Russian. They weren't happy because of their attitude, because they act like the Thailand people were guests in their own country, on their own island. That kind of stuff, right? So yeah. Yeah, we've got folks in the chat. Let them know who are thinking about Thailand. I love Thailand. I could do Thailand. I could live there. I walked around by myself. I went and got groceries while everybody else was asleep early in the morning, letting Siri guide the way. No problems. Absolutely no problems. So I've walked, yeah. Thailand is the bomb. It's safe. I've walked at dusk and early morning. So I like Thailand. And the food. Oh my God, the food. The food. Okay, I think we've answered that. So let me uncheck that. All right, you guys. We're going to start wrapping up. We've got one more region to go. But first, I want to hear what you guys are saying. Anything more about, okay, Africa or Asia? It was, if one was to relocate to South Africa and Southern Africa, what areas would you recommend? So Southern Africa, then you're including Botswana, and you're including Tanzania. If you're including Tanzania, I would watch Ashley in Africa, because she used to live in Tanzania and now she lives in South Africa. And she's a single woman. So she's going to be talking about where it's safe, because she's got two daughters.
Two daughters, yeah.
Right? Not even sons, two daughters. So yeah, I would watch Ashley in Africa. As far as Johannesburg goes, we stayed in Staten, and then Cape Town is Cape Town. Anywhere near the marina is going to be fine. All along that's all the land that they stole from the marina all the way further south, and then just a little bit north of there. All that area around there is fine. Stellenbosch is probably too small. It's safe, but it is where the Afrikaners started apartheid. That was started in Stellenbosch. So you probably don't want to stay in Stellenbosch, though. You do want to do the wine tours in Stellenbosch.
Yeah, you do want to visit.
You want to do the wine tours in Stellenbosch. You want to do the wine tours in Stellenbosch. Vietnam is a favorite of the Yarboroughs. I'm a longtime subscriber. I've been subscribed to the Yarboroughs since they had 5,000 subscribers. They were still in Guadalajara. They had just left what's that, Merida. They just left Merida, Mexico. Canada. Do you really want to go to America Light? Do you? Canada's expensive. Canada to me is America Light. And yeah, I'm not interested. I'd live there before I live in America, but I'm not interested. And it's expensive.
But if it's for you, check it out.
Check it out. But it's not on our list. It is not on our list. The healthcare is top tier in major cities in Thailand. Oh, yeah, that's true. That is true. And you can get one of those full body scans for like pennies on the dollars, y'all. Okay. So sometimes it would be cheaper to fly down and get like veneers in Brazil than it would be to try to get it in the States.
Yeah.
Any kind of selective stuff you want done, a lot of times it would be cheaper to fly even to Mexico. I know folks who get dentistry in Mexico all the time. It's funny seeing all these MAGA people still talking about going down to Mexico for dentistry and stuff. And it's like, you don't see what's wrong with that? You don't see the hypocrisy there, but okay, whatever you say. I've confirmed this with my doctor and I can continue with my treatment with my back. Perfect. Yeah. Like, the notion that America has good health care is just that. It's a notion, y'all. It's just a notion. Thank you, Bridget. Bridget has gifted 5 utopians with membership. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Our community thanks you. Shout out. You all. Members get to hang out with us behind the scenes an hour before we go live. We chitty chat, ask questions. I ask y'all questions. They ask us questions. And then if you're a legend, you can actually come on air and co-host with us every other Thursday. Every other Thursday. All right. So the thing about Asia is that racism looks different there. All right. It looks different there than it looks in the United States. It looks different everywhere than it looks in the United States for the most part. For the most part. Now, it was looking kind of familiar in South Africa. But the difference is that they know they don't have the power anymore. They have some political power and they have financial power. Of course they do. But I didn't see them getting too big for their britches. You know what I mean? I saw them getting a lot bigger for their britches back in 2008, how some of those white supremacists down in South Africa were acting back in 2008. Remember those looks you were getting? More so than this time. Now, I could still see it this time, especially in Cape Town. I could still see it.
Cape Town.
But it was like the racism taking out the violence. It was like how white folks acted like back in the 90s, that nice, nasty thing, right? Where it's not all overt like it is now. So, but different doesn't mean that absent, obviously, but we know long-term Black residents in all of these places that actually find joy and love it, right? And so, the question you want to ask yourself is there a realistic pathway to residency, to long-term residency for the place that you're looking at? And can I legally operate my business, even if it's just an online business? Can I legally do that, or do I have to be ducking and dodging? You don't want to duck and dodge, all right? You want to do things above board. Life is hard enough, y'all. Life is hard enough. So just, ask the questions and look at it as a blessing in disguise if it doesn't work out. Yeah. Okay. You can always visit. Can foreigners own property, right? Is it easy to find English speaking doctors? Is that accessible, right? And of course, are your medications legal and all of that stuff? Can I manage the distance from my family, right? So let us know who's been in Asia. We want to know. And then finally, we're going to talk about Europe. We're just going to talk about 3 countries: Portugal, Spain, and France. All right. Obviously, there are other European countries. And Europe actually is so small, it might be considered a region. But we're just going to talk about those 3. The UK is not part of the Schengen area anymore, right? They Brexited it. So we're not going to talk about the UK. England is pretty expensive. Ireland might be someplace that you might want to check out. All of these places are safer than the United States. Is racism here? Yes. I would say out of Portugal, Spain, and France, Portugal is the least racist, the least overt racism anyway, because so we've heard some things about Spain and France. We've heard, we just have. But still, there are too many Black folks living their best lives in France and Spain for these places not to be on your list. I think a lot of times we attract what we expect. Okay. We're not going to live in La La Land, but I don't hear about Black people showing up hanging from trees and then the police brushing it off as suicides. I don't hear about that stuff happening over here in Western Europe. Okay. I hear some taunting, and if you had to make your living here, if you had to try to get a job, that would be one thing. But utopians, that's not what we're trying to do. When we're talking about moving abroad, we're not talking about moving and working at somebody's job there, unless you're talking about an international school, right? Or you're being transferred by your job and working out of that international office or something like that. That's what we're talking about. So I put Europe last because it always receives a lot of attention, right? It's always part of the move abroad conversation. And because they abstained from voting yes, that the transatlantic slave trade was a travesty against humanity. They abstained. They might have abstained because they were scared of the melon felon and they didn't want him taking away more money. I don't know, and I don't care. Sometimes we have to put ourselves in harm's way to do what's right. We wouldn't even be here today, being able to sit here, if our folks did not put themselves in harm's way in front of those water hoses, in front of those dogs and everything else, to make sure that we had the right to leave that funky ass country. Right? So they could have put themselves in harm, but they decided not to. So that's why they last. Right? Now, we love living in Portugal. Don't get it twisted. We love living in Portugal. We love living in Portugal. I personally, especially now, it's interesting. See, blessings in disguise, blessings in disguise. I have been talking to Portuguese people so much more now because I'm talking to all the nurses and doctors who have been helping me with my leg. But that they're still Portuguese. They're still people, right? And I still get to learn a lot about what they're dealing with, how they look at things, how they're looking at all of the immigration and all of this stuff. And I still say Portuguese people are pretty dope. They're pretty dope. They really are. So the nurses are lovely. They are lovely. And I feel like they are treating me like I would want to be treated. Okay. And I will leave it at that. So we know we always talk about Europe. I love the fact that 99% of the time, no matter where we go, we never need a car. We never need a car. And the transportation system is so robust that you can basically get anywhere within a couple of blocks of anywhere you want to go. So walkability is lovely. I love the fact that the food is so fresh and healthy, and that half the crap that they allow in the food in the United States is not allowed here.
We can eat the food here.
The chicken wings are chicken wing size. You know, remember skinny as a chicken and all of that?
We can eat the salad here.
That part. Without explosive diarrhea. We can do it. We can do it. All right. As a matter of fact, we just had a salad the day before yesterday, a bagged salad. Yes. And we are fine.
Healthcare is awesome.
I'm sorry. We're fine. The healthcare is awesome. Even with the experience that I had in the public transportation, in the public hospital, I have been speaking to a lot of locals about that experience, and that experience is not an anomaly. Because every single healthcare professional talks about how they have stopped investing in the healthcare system the way they used to. So it's not an anomaly, but I think the people in the suburbs and the smaller towns have a much different experience, because that's what I've heard.
And actually, they're supposed to be building a new hospital here in Lisbon, a huge hospital to take the place of the two hospitals.
Definitely. Exactly. The other cool thing about choosing Western Europe and thinking about this region is all of the other countries that are a stone's throw away. These countries are so small, y'all, physically small, that you can get there and it's a whole different language, whole different food, whole different culture, whole different everything, architecture, everything, right? And it's just like an hour away. It's a trip, right? And so that's one of the things that you can look forward to. Of course, there's basically nearly no gun violence.
It's not the wild, wild west.
All right. Now, here's the thing. In the Schengen area, you think of it like the United States, okay? All of the countries in the Schengen area, once you touch ground, that clock starts ticking, and you get 90 days in the area every 180 days. So every 6 months you get 90 days. I don't care whether you're in France, you're in Spain, you're in Portugal. It counts like you're in one country, the Schengen area. Okay. And so good thing is when you're traveling, it's like traveling state to state. You don't have to keep pulling out your passport. Well, I guess you do. You guys would have to pull out your passport. We could just pull out our residency card, you're still not going through immigration, even though you have to pull out your passport for ID. You're still not going through immigration. So in that regard, it's like traveling from state to state. Do not assume you can use your full tourist allowance. Okay, in Belgium, and then come to Portugal and you can spend another 90 days. All right. It does not start. Go to the UK, go to the UK, go to Croatia, go to Montenegro, go to Georgia, go to Albania, right? All of those places that we were talking about where you can get that 1-year tourist visa, that 6 months tourist visa. Go there, stay 3 months, and then you can come back. Okay. Go to the UK and house sit in London for 3 months. Right. And then come back.
Or Manchester or anywhere in the UK.
Right. Well, yeah, but London has the most. They have house sit. They have so many house sits. I think they have more house sits than house sitters. Right. That's what I think. So make sure that you understand the residency requirements. Okay. We do not just pick up and leave. Right. We've done that. We do not do that. But the taxes, you'll want to talk to a tax person if you're planning to come over here and live. Now, slow travel is a different situation. If you're going to slow travel, you're going to talk to Our Black Utopia expat tax guru, Katrina. especially if you're doing your own business or remote working while you're slow traveling, because sometimes 30 days can trigger being a tax resident. You don't want to be like Shakira out here in these international streets. All right. So if you're going to slow travel and stay at places 3 months and stuff like that, and you are going to be doing your own side hustle, your own business or something like that, you're going to want to talk to Katrina Haynes. Go back and look at our expat tax video that we just did about a month ago and get her information. Okay. Otherwise, you're going to talk to a tax person in the place where you're going to move. And figure out the healthcare and the housing costs and all this. Now, when you see the housing costs in Western Europe, you're going to say, well, why should I even move? I can pay this. I can pay less than this in Atlanta. Maybe. But in the end, your cost of living will still be less here and more there. So the clue to me was, when we saw this very first video that Rick showed me of Our Rich Journey, our friends Christina and Aman, way back when, the first time they lived in Lisbon, and their total budget was $40,000 a year for a family of 4, y'all, in a capital city. 40,000. Now, yes, this was 4 years ago, but listen to the whole story. $40,000 a year. They had kids in private school. Both of the girls were in private school, if I remember at the time. I'm trying to remember their budget. And I remember their rent to me was very expensive. It was about 2,400 euro per month. So even though their rent at the time was $2,400 per month, which now would be kind of low in some places, that same place is not $2,400 a month. But even though they were still living off of only $40,000 a year, because the public transportation, you can get a car. My transportation card is 40 euro. Rick's is 20 euro. Right? Healthcare is so much less expensive. The food is less expensive. Going out to the movies or going out to a restaurant is less expensive. We can go out and see a movie in what's the big screens called? IMAX, right? We can see an IMAX movie, I think, for less than 10 euro a piece. I think it still is less than 10 euro. Yeah. And last time I checked in the United States, if you wanted to see it on an IMAX screen, you were paying $15 and $18 in LA for a movie. Right? And so even though when you see those housing costs, don't get scared. Don't get scared. Okay? Check out everything else as well and add it all up and see if it works for you. All right? Life outside of the tourist areas can be good. Okay? I have not experienced any racism in housing. I have experienced not wanting immigrants because they've gotten burned. They've gotten burned, right? And people come and they're like, oh, Europe. And then they realize life shows up, and then the bureaucracy, and, you still have a toothache and you still got to do the things, and life is not just a vacation.
Right.
And then they get pissed off and move back and break their lease. Right. And let me tell you, I don't know about Spain and France, but in Portugal, if you would sign a 10-year lease, half of these people would sign a 10-year lease with you, knowing that they can only raise your rent but so much every year because that's the law. That's how the Portuguese are. They just don't want to be bothered. If you're a good tenant, they'd rather just honey, right? But guess what, y'all? Your kids won't be doing shooter drills. Your grandkids, your nieces, nephews won't be doing shooter drills. Bet you that much. All right. So we don't have to worry about, ending up dead from the police, because that is an anomaly. Now that truly is an anomaly here. All right. So let us know who's slow traveled through Europe. Which was your favorite place? What would you warn people about? All right. What would you warn people about? And let's see what you guys are talking about, and then we're going to wrap it up. Where am I going? Where am I going? That's where I'm going. Okay. All the way down. It ain't letting up. Okay, I'm not sure what you guys are talking about. So I'm going to look for the cues. That's what I'm looking for. I think it depends, y'all. Okay. I think it depends. And I think that it depends on what your expectations are, what you're looking for, who you are, your personality, and everything else. They're refunding Shakira? Okay. She got her money back. Still, you don't even want to go through the trouble.
You don't want to start going through it.
Right? You don't even want to go through the trouble, even if they're wrong. So if you have your I's dotted and your T's crossed and all of that stuff, right? Wait. What are we talking about? Luxury bucket list? Latin men also always loved me. I used to teach with a teacher from Ecuador. He drew a bird. It was nice. I complimented him, and he drew me a bird daily until I quit. Oh my gosh. Just being nice to these guys. Some men, they're just like, wait, not the Wild West. Yeah. We know America is out of control. Yes, 90 days pumpkin spice is pumpkin spice? Yeah, out of 180 days. Okay. And so you can be here half the year. But don't say 90 days is 3 months, because some months have more days, right? So don't get caught out there. The last thing you want to do is overstay your visa and get put on the naughty list. They might not let you back in. Okay. So you do not want that. So make sure if you're slow traveling, make sure you count those days carefully. Okay, the racism in Southeast Asia is between other Asians within their culture. It has nothing to do with us. The racism is from foreigners, not the Thai people, as it pertains to us. The racism that I felt in Thailand was from them damn Russians. It wasn't from the Thai people. Oh, we didn't tell them about the soup. Okay. So we did a food tour in Phuket. You guys, you got to do the food tours. It was so much food. It was so much food that by the end, people were like, no more. Wasn't it with like 9 tastings or something?
Yeah.
It was crazy. And so we started out at this place in a basement in like a souk, and mom and pop. It wasn't a restaurant. It was more like a joint, because the only place to sit was like at the bar, or I guess you got it to go. And this was for breakfast. And I guess they eat soup for breakfast.
Yep.
Okay. And so I had this soup. I had the tourist version, or the gringo version. I can't remember what they called it.
Tourist version.
I had the tourist version. That means I didn't have no intestines or any other organs. I just had the meat. And that, you guys, I almost hurt myself. That soup was so good. Now, oops. Rick you had the full Monty.
I had the local version.
With pig ears. What else did it have in it? Pig feet?
It had everything from the pig, from the snooter to the tooter.
Now,
real.
Our friend Alex got the tourist version plus. He wanted to try the pig ears and the intestines.
No, I had that.
I thought you got the full Monty, and he just got a couple of things.
No, he did.
Right?
He did have.
I didn't have no Monty. I had the tourist version. Y'all ain't playing with me.
I wanted to experience the whole, and it was so good. It was so good.
See? See? And that's why you do the food tours, because there's no way on God's green earth that we would have gone into that basement of that sook and looked around, and I would have been like, yeah, no, no. But like we said, we knew it was clean and all of that, because this is how this woman makes her living. If she gets a bad rap, somebody gets sick, she ain't gonna make her money. So
it was fantastic. And a lot of people came here to eat.
Oh yeah, it was good, and we just went from place to place to place to place, and by the end, oh my gosh, I mean, they were pouring teas with the big foam and oh Lord, I was so full, I didn't know what to do. I did not know what to do. UNC alert. What's going on? I don't know. I see that from Jewel 440. Johnny Malone. What is the UNC alert?
Or UNC.
Or Uncle? Is it Uncle Alert or UNC alert? Okay, I don't know. All I know is that when we talk about safe, we know that safety is a perception. We know that shit can happen anywhere. We know that. But we also know that it's less likely to happen in some places than in others. And so we want to be safe from gun violence. We don't want to have to worry about that all the time. Mm-hmm. And we definitely don't want to have to worry about political instability. And I didn't think that I would see the day when I would say that America is politically unstable, but it is. It is unstable. And there is every indication that they're going to try to steal the 2026 election.
I have no doubt.
Okay. And so if you're watching this, we have to show up. It has to be too big to rig, like they did in Hungary. We have to make it too big to rig. Okay. That's what we have to do, even though we're leaving. Right. Our ancestors fought for a reality that they knew they probably would never see. And we have to do the same. And so as we are leaving, we have to make sure that we have left things in place to keep our house clean back home. Because we've got family, we've got community, and we got our investments, right? I never thought that I would see the time when I would say America is economically unstable. So wherever you're thinking about going to, you want to make sure, especially for slow travel, that's one thing. You want to check for political stability, even in slow travel. But economic stability, if you're just going to be there for 30 days or so, I think you're good. But if you're talking about moving, you want to check that. You want to check for climate disasters. How do they handle it? Can they handle it? Right? We don't want you to get to a place and feel socially isolated. So safety means different things to different people.
Yeah. No. Is it safe for who? Or safe from what?
Right.
Safe in which city and neighborhood? Safe under what legal status?
Right. Because they kept saying, we just want them to do it the right way. We just want them to do it the right way. But the people who did do it the right way and are doing it the right way are still getting punished, right? So when you say you want a safer place, what do you mean? What do you mean? Let us know in the chat. You want to get the rest. Let us know in the chat.
We're going from 8.
And let's see what you guys are talking about.
Are we going from 8?
Yes. Ode Maya. Ode Maya. I've never heard of Ode Maya on YouTube. Shows great places around the world. Okay, have to check that out. Trump is already setting a pretext for stealing the election or canceling it. Right? That's what I'm saying. What's he doing? What is he doing? What is he doing? Who knows? What else are you guys saying? Please hit the like button. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So I thought if I come for the winter meetup, it's going to be less. It's going to have to be less than 3 months. Okay. It's 4 months away. It's 4 months away. December 29th. December 29th is when it starts. Okay. All right. What else are you guys talking about? Let's see. Why does mine still say this? Okay, that's why. That is why. Okay. Sorry, you guys, having a little technical difficulty here. I'm a little confused about the Shenzhen area. I came for 2 weeks back in June for the meetup. Oh, okay. That's why you're saying that. Okay. So the Shenzhen area, I want to say is 11 to 18 countries. Y'all. Okay. It's most of Western Europe. It is most of Western Europe, what we consider the EU. Okay. And so it kind of operates kind of like the United States, right? So all of the countries that are in the Shenzhen area, and you can just Google it, which countries are in the Shenzhen area, count as one. So you get 90 days in the Shenzhen area as a whole. Now, let's say you were here in June for the meetup and you were here for a month. And then you come back in December. Well, hell, that's almost 6 months later, right? But still, you still have 2 months in the Shenzhen area. Now, whether you spend that all in Portugal or not is up to you, right? But you still have 2 months. So that's how that works. I studied abroad in Greece. It holds a special place in my heart. Oh, would love to hear about that.
Yeah, I'd love to hear about Greece.
Right? See, they said you're brave for trying that soup.
Hey, it was good. That's the thing. It was so good. It was so flavorful.
Oh my gosh. I don't know. There was nothing that I tasted in Thailand that did not taste good.
It was
y'all.
so good.
There's something magic that they do to that food. I don't know, but oh my gosh, seriously. So Killer Queen says she's been to most countries in Europe and Greece is your favorite. 7% tax. Ooh. Greece. Greece is gorgeous. Greece is gorgeous. We'll have to go back.
So I got a joke for Benita, since she puts jokes in the meetup thing all the time. So where were the first donuts made, Benita?
First donuts. Oh my gosh. All right. We've been already talking about researching, right? How you research, right? And so the biggest thing that I'm going to say is get the Move Abroad Toolkit. All right. We also have a scouting trip checklist. So get the scouting trip checklist, get the Move Abroad Toolkit, because don't sell your house and everything before you start planning. Book a one-on-one call with us if you need to, right? But start with the scouting trip checklist. Is free. Get the Move Abroad Toolkit. Start there. All right, because you're going to want to put together a realistic budget, right? You're gonna want to research it and try and do everything that you can to eliminate all risk, to eliminate all surprises. All right, and one of the ways is to get our tools, seriously, because we don't have all the answers, but we've got most of the questions. That's the thing. Ask whether you can imagine an ordinary Tuesday, right? Not just the beautiful days, right? Saturday when you're chilling with your Mai Tai or whatever, right? Seriously. because there's no perfect country.
No, there's not.
But there are better fits.
Yeah. The right place for slow travel may not be the right place to retire. Remember that.
Right. And the right place to retire may not be the right place to build a business.
That's
right. The right place at 55 may not be the right place at 75. Right.
Nope. So you better have a plan B.
And a plan C and a plan D and E. Seriously. Right now, let's look for a place that matches our values. Let's look for a place that matches our
finance,
right? That matches our money, right?
And your health.
That not only can deal with any health care challenges you already have or may get, but can also help you live a healthier life, right? Because without that, what's the point? Seriously. This should be a place where you can imagine your family.
Yeah.
Right? That you've considered that.
Yeah.
If you want to consider it.
If you want to consider that.
All right.
Know your legal options.
Because they should be able to help assist you build the life that you want. So if today did one thing, we hoped it changed the questions that you're asking. Instead of asking, what is the best country? Ask, what is the best fit for the life that I'm trying to build? Right? And before you pack up your life, ask yourself, do I want to visit this place? We have somebody who's in the chat right now who moved to Portugal sight unseen. Okay. So it can be done, but that's different. One of the things about Western Europe is, unlike Southeast Asia, is it really is familiar. Our culture in America is based upon Western Europe, right? And so a lot of this will feel familiar to you. It is not that odd to me to move to Western Europe sight unseen. Most of the people that I know should do a scouting trip to Southeast Asia. I think even South America is more familiar, feels more familiar than Southeast Asia. But I love them all. I love them all for different reasons. But every place is not for everybody. So some places are for slow travel, right? And some places you may want to think of, getting legal residency and building a life there. But get out and explore, right? And then get the Move Abroad Toolkit to help you map out your plan. Because you got to ask the right questions.
You have to.
Right. A vacation can introduce you to a country. Slow travel helps you experience its rhythm. But moving requires you to understand its systems. And that's the thing. It's laws, right? It's taxes, it's cost, it's culture. And whether your real life can work there is no guarantee.
No.
So slow travel can help you understand whether it's even possible.
Yeah. So if you're serious about building more freedom and more options, join us inside Beyond the Bling 3.0. And this summer, just is still here.
It's still summer.
This winter is our first winter meetup. OBU Winter Reunions, December 29th through the 31st. And it will end with a formal New Year's Eve party. This is how community is built.
Yep.
By showing up in person.
Even if you were at the summer reunion, right? Right? Put it, okay. If you were there, put in the chat, because that we know how to have fun. Because the summer reunion, we're going to have a house party.
Oh, Lord. Look at her brain just does not shut off.
We're going to have a cookout at the summer reunion. But we might have a house party at the winter reunion.
We're going to rent a house?
Maybe.
We can't fit people in this house.
No, we can't. We can't. We ain't fitting all the people in. We might rent a house. We might rent a house. Okay. We had so much fun. Oh my God, we had so much fun. So let them know, right? If you need personal guidance, y'all, book a one-on-one call with us. Okay. Book a one-on-one coaching call. That information is in the description below. Become a channel member. That's how you can help us help you bring this information to you twice a week, week after week after week. And if you like this live stream, please hit that like, subscribe to Our Black Utopia, and share this conversation with someone who knows. Oh, check out our merch store too. All of that information, all of that information is, oh, you've even got your hat on, is in the description below.
I keep fiddling with it.
Right.
Because my glasses keep moving.
Listen, if you come to our meetup, I guarantee you will get into conversations with people who are in the same situation that you were in. All right. You do not have to do this alone.
No.
You do not have to do this alone, but you do have to start.
You have to start.
You have to start somewhere. All right. So start planning your plan B, right? It's not about having somewhere to run from. It's about making sure you have somewhere to run to. All right. I'm Halisi.
And I'm Rick.
And we are Our Black Utopia. I want to know in the chat, I want to know where you are now thinking, which region you are now going to after listening. Is this it?
Mm-hmm.
We'll see you later.
This is Our Black Utopia. Rising in the light. Freedom in our future. Power in our sight.